Hello everyone, my name is Wendy Castellino and I'm a psychotherapist with over 30 years experience. I work as a CBT therapist and as an EMDR therapist. So today I want to talk to you about problems with negative self-talk. So do you notice that you struggle with your negative thoughts, that they bring you down? Do you notice that you focus on the worst case scenario and overlook all the really good, positive things about your life? Well, you'll be pleased to know that you are not alone. Our negative self-talk can be a real problem to our happiness and our mental health. However, what I'm sharing with you today is really good news, that you can actually change the way you talk to yourself and improve your mood by using these techniques. So what are the benefits of practicing positive self-talk? So it can help improve your mood, it can reduce symptoms of stress and anxiety, it can increase your self-esteem and help you to achieve whatever is important in your life. So you do this by actually challenging your negative thoughts, and you can do this by actually reframing them to be said in a more positive way. Therefore you alter your mindset, and therefore overall your thoughts are more optimistic. So what is self-talk? This is where your subconscious is kind of communicating with you. So your mind continually sends you messages, and the way to change this is to actually keep on challenging this, keep on keeping your mindset to be more upbeat, more hopeful, more positive, more optimistic. Okay, and that can help you deal with much more difficult and stressful situations. So negative self-talk simply impacts our mental health in a very difficult way, and can really affect our anxiety and our depression. If you can improve your positive self-talk, this can significantly improve your mental health, your emotional well-being, and your overall quality of life. So when we use positive language to ourselves, it helps us to really think about what it is we're saying to ourselves. What we say to ourselves then affects how we feel about ourselves, which then ultimately affects our behaviours. So by practicing positive self-talk, we therefore become more resilient and more optimistic as well. And you actually feel more able to challenge difficult and adverse situations in your life. By practicing positive self-talk, you should feel yourself in a more positive mood, leading to greater confidence, higher self-esteem, and better motivation as well. So here are some examples of how your positive self-talk can be improved. It can help you to reduce stress and anxiety. So if you constantly criticize yourself, you actually go into fight or flight mode, and this releases hormones such as cortisol that negatively affect your physical and mental health. By increasing your self-esteem, you do this by focusing on your strengths and your accomplishments. You can develop a more resilient mindset that helps you to deal with setbacks and challenges. It can actually help you to improve physical health problems, help improve your immune system, and also chronic pain. Positive self-talk can actually improve your relationships. If you actually have a positive self-image and a more optimistic outlook, you're more likely to interact in a positive way socially and also be more supportive. So that can also influence your relationships with friends and loved ones. So when you constantly repeat positive affirmations to yourself, you're basically rewiring your brain to think in a more optimistic way. So this does take time and effort to actually work. It's really important that you are patient with yourself and you practice on a regular basis. Sometimes you can actually feel you're not getting anywhere, but over time you have to remind yourself it become easier and more natural. So what are some examples of some positive self-talk? So there's some very simple ones, like keep repeating affirmations such as I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, I know I can achieve this, I can achieve this goal. And actually you're creating positive neurons when you keep on repeating those things to yourself. Or I am a good person, or I'm worthy of abundant life, I'm a fighter, I can win this, I'm determined to succeed, I can do anything I want to, I will always focus on the positive. What can I learn from this situation? I'm grateful for all the good things I've got in my life. I can succeed, I will succeed. I'm worthy of a healthy relationship. All these are examples of positive self-talk. What we have to be very careful about is this sort of inner critic that we actually have inside ourselves. It's very important we actually replace it with positive self-talk. When we actually listen to the inner critic, this is actually very judgmental, and it can damage our overall sense of worth and self-confidence. The reason we get this inner critic is often from messages that we've been given in our past, such as people who've been negative in our childhood, parents or teachers or friends who haven't been very helpful, or own past experiences of failure or rejection. So the type of examples that a negative inner critic might say to you are, no one likes you, you're not smart enough, you're really lazy, you're not good looking enough, you'll never be successful, you're a loser. And also by actually just hearing those things out loud, that they can be so detrimental to your mental health. So there's basically a number of categories that identify negative self-talk. So the first one is when you kind of always personalizing, always blaming yourself. So say you go to the supermarket and the shopkeeper doesn't talk to you. You think, well, that always happens to me. Nobody ever talks to me because I'm not worthy of talking to me. You're personalizing everything that happens to you. Maybe the shopkeeper was having a bad day themselves and didn't really feel talking to anybody as well. So another example is polarizing. So what you do here is you either see things as good or bad, or hot or cold, or right or wrong. There's no shades of grey. Most of our life is actually, are examples of how we think in shades of grey, and it doesn't actually help to be so sort of rigid or black or white in our thinking. Exaggerating is another one, where you just really think only of all your negative aspects or things that happen to you, or you blow them out of proportion. So say you have a 90% really good day and everything goes well, and say somebody cuts you up when you're driving. What people do is they just focus on that one negative event and think, oh, I've had a terrible day today. Guess what happened? Somebody cut me up at the junction, and you forget all the really good things that happened that day, and you just focus on the worst one as well. The other common one is when we catastrophize. So we're always thinking of, what if the worst thing happens? Oh, the worst thing's bound to happen to me. Bad things always happen to me. Everything always goes wrong in my life. Whatever I say, it's going to go wrong. Whatever I do, it's going to go wrong. And you're actually exaggerating all the time the worst case scenario. Say a loved one is meant to be home by 6 and it's like 6:15. Somebody who catastrophizes thinks, oh my goodness me, what's happened to them? Something terrible's happened to them. And they probably just got stuck in a bit of traffic, but the catastrophizing really actually affects our mood. So the most important thing to think about when you try the positive self-talk is to get it into a habit and routine. Sometimes there's always unconscious resistance, and you can go back into old habits and think it's not working, and why bother to put the energy and effort into it. But it does actually become like a practice that you do regularly. Sometimes things do go wrong. Sometimes you might have a disappointment or a setback. And what's really important there is not just to give up and say you failed, to keep going back to your positive self-talk and sort of say, you know, this is an experience I can learn from. What can I take from this? Don't give up, keep on going. Life happens, it's okay. Again, can you hear all those positive self-talk you can say to themselves? Sometimes it can be difficult to practice it. Sometimes we can have a bad day, or we feel tired, or we can't be bothered, or other things get in the way. So what's really important is to keep your motivation going. Surround yourself with positive people who actually speak well of things and who are motivating themselves. And also listening to people who are positive, or listening to podcasts or uplifting activities such as exercise and motivation techniques, or motivational listeners, or actually listening to podcasts. All these things can really keep you sort of motivated and inspired. Okay. So reframing, a little bit more about reframing. So say you'll have a negative thought like, I'm never going to accomplish anything. Just try to sort of say that in a different way, in a more positive way. So say, if I try and focus and put my work in, then I'm much more likely to accomplish things. It's much more healthier, much more realistic, much more positive. So it's really important that you just keep working on this, keep on thinking of examples where you can reframe, sort of say, you know, I'm going to be fat all my life, I'm never going to lose weight. You know, can you hear how sort of depressing or demotivating that is when you say to yourself? So another example is, you know, I just need to learn some skills here. I'm determined to focus on my goals. And if I'm determined, then I'm more likely to succeed. So I hope you actually find that helpful. I hope you keep on practicing it. I hope it becomes more of a habit. And to remember always to be kind to yourself. If you want any more information from me, then you can always go to Wendyc.team and contact me, and we can always have an informal chat if you think I can help you in any way. I look forward to hearing from you. Bye-bye.